vibrational characteristics of configuration turns to biological attributes, and all this is information. Actually, all the matter is an ability to generate some impulse, that is a wish and confidence, which is grown automatically. I can do this. If there is a sign of inexperience, so everything happens depending on peculiarities of configuration of the form, which you are focusing in now. If these configuration's peculiarities allow to do something, you refocus resonationally to the scenario where it's possible. Rather, we refocus to the scenarios where to some degree what we intend to do is implemented. Or isn't, regarding to features of our configuration. A configuration's features, vibrational peculiarities, turn to molecular, atomic, biological characteristics, which are performed by means of muscles, skeleton, through peculiarities of brain structure. Everyone has its own, to neuron connections. All that is information. A synapse is information too. Lack of any synapse can create a situation of incomplete resonational correspondence with the scenario which you would like to carry out. However, from the infinite amount of synapses originated in some chains, any single synapse can prevent implementation of your intention. Because you, with your intention, will focus in the configuration which will have another development scenario. Development scenarios always alternate in focus dynamics. Look, we have been sitting here for a long time, for half an hour. It seems to you that all of us are in this single scenario. We are not indeed. Actually, scenarios change depending on how you have responded on my speech, on how I choose my words. Here, I have told the definite phrase. There, I have not, or have told it otherwise. There, I sat back. Here, I'm sitting like this. There are all things which belong to diverse scenarios. And we alternate these scenarios by the type of resonationness among our focus dynamics and some formal shapes from NVK. Why does the illusion of sustainability appear? Why don't we observe us there, and there? Firstly, because we are tied to the only one perception system, to the only which we are focusing in at the present moment. Secondly, because двулетность, consistency, does exist. Despite of whatever I do and say, you are focusing in двулетные scenarios, which are related to fundamentals of your conceptions about the current surrounding world and yourself at the present moment. In your focus dynamics, there is, I'm at the colloquium, it is held in the tent. I'm at a far. You are tied to the scenarios where the current interest is possible to be realized. I mean, exactly the given interest, not that you are cooking something at the kitchen in another scenario, or drinking something, or moving by car, or being somewhere else. You are seeing exactly that is tied to totality of namely these scenarios, meaning you engage into your focus dynamics exactly those stereotypes, which are tied to the tent, the colloquium, generally to the certain action. And you choose resonationally from this totality only what is corresponding to your conceptions about yourself and the world around. From the first side, we are tied to the configuration, which has definite limited capabilities. We are tied to configurations, to many of them. The previous question concerned exactly this stuff. Configurations which don't correspond to some capabilities completely undergo revitalizing effects. We are tied to specificity of exactly those scenarios where our current configurational features have the greatest opportunities to be performed. In other words, by the same content which is present, there are many diverse scenarios of implementation. Is there any moment of affectation to make something impossible possible from scratch? Or must there any experience be accumulated still? For example, I want to jump over a wall. The definite impulse must be for that. Expression of definite parts of genome facilitates definite brain parts related to paleocortex to choose exactly what would allow to implement my current idea to jump over the wall. However, the creators of mitochondria DNA play a more important role there. If they possess the information, yes, it is possible, and this part of paleocortex is still quite active in our perception system. Therefore, it will be able to be performed. However, this information might be not active still, because different people have different brain structures. Someone has the same parts of paleocortex developed to the most extent. Someone has parts of archicortex more developed. Someone else has both paleocortex and archicortex developed to the least extent than neocortex. That means that such people are already incapable of doing that, jumping so high. In order to excite these neuron chains, these neuron creators who are responsible for overcoming this high wall, so strong stimulus is required that the given brain is simply incapable to generate. Because creators, interpretators, yes, perceived such situation resonationally in NVK. But the same situation was noticed by creators of mitochondria DNA too, and the latter, as if tell in their defense. Listen, we haven't got this stuff. In order to do this, we need some portion of energy, but there is nowhere to gain it from. We need such neurotransmitters to be present, but it isn't possible to create them right now, because it is a lack of required amino acids, for example. It takes time to originate those amino acids. Yes, it is possible to be created. Let it be to get serotonin made from tryptophan, but it takes time. And while I will be taken off the ground, I won't get that amino acid, and so forth. Everything is tied closely there. However, if we risk something, we can pass through many revitalizations. And finally, if we wander to refocus there very much to that configuration, which already jumped over the wall, we will refocus and we won't even remember how it happened, because it won't be fixed in our perception system. We won't remember how we took off, how we raised. It all will be in the perception systems of the forms, which will have been revitalizing in the meantime. Although we will remember how we came to the wall and how we occurred on the other side. The process itself couldn't be performed anyhow through neuron chains, synapses, and perception system. Let's take a mother who lifted a tree or a car, having set a child free to allow somebody to rescue a child. They asked her how she managed to do that. She answered yet, "I don't know." People who experienced such situations don't know how they did that and don't even remember how it all happened. What did you feel then? Did you make a thought? Nobody had a thought, because who had? Those are already lying down in graves in other scenarios near to them, and those aren't ready for actions yet. They are incapable of narrating something else.